What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to hit tonight's game. I had gone into this with yesterday. I had gone into how I was leaning Chargers because I thought it was a fishy line. Wanted to see how some of the other games went, but I went into and read all the previews, and I think I have an idea of where they're going with this, and it makes me like the Chargers even more. But I'll go into that in a second. Obviously, we can do a quick recap. Jags Texans. By the time this video is out, you'll probably have the final on that game. But it's reminiscent of the Cardinals last week. It just seems like the Texans somehow finding a way to make a comeback here, and they have a chance to win the game with a few minutes left. Cardinals were up that game basically the whole game, so that's an interesting one. So we could get that one. Obviously, it's not probable. We're probably looking at like live, like plus 300 or something like that right now. Maybe not even, nah, I mean, they got the ball. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Anyway, you guys will know by the time the game goes final. But I'm thinking there's a good chance the Texans can get it done. Colts, we split. We did get the over, which was for 2 units, so that's nice. We missed the Bucks. I had the Bucks winning. We did get the Falcons winning, which is nice. You know, basically even odds. Depending on your book, you might have got like plus 120. But I'll take that. Patriots didn't cover. They didn't. I had them cover in the 4. They didn't even win. I thought it was a suspicious line, but I guess I was off there. And then we got the Panthers, and we had them covering, so we'll have to see what happens here. Not looking too good for them right now. This is reminding me a lot of college yesterday, because what happened yesterday was we hit most of our leg 2, leg 3s, which are our 2-unit, 4-unit plays. And most of our losses were leg 1s for 1 unit. So we had like a 50% hit rate, but we profited nicely yesterday. I think it was like a 5-6 unit profit. I'm not positive. Oh no, Florida didn't win, so I think it wound up being like a 3.5, 4 unit profit. But that was even that. I think we finished 4 and 4 yesterday. It might have even been 3 and 5, and we profited pretty nice. So I'll take that any day of the week. And today's looking kind of similar to me. We did miss our Bengals Steelers over. That's a leg 3, so never fun to lose 4 units. But again, doing pretty good so far on leg 2s. Of course, this is assumed we got the Falcons already. I believe the Texans are 1, and the Bucks over was a leg 2. The Chiefs Raiders over is a leg 3. I went into that in my last video for 4 units. So I think that one's going to come through, and that's probably going to be the pivotal one that flips this. Just because, again, both teams suck on the over. I went with pure metrics on that pick. So, yeah, I think we're going to finish out pretty strong. And getting to tonight's game, this is also a leg 3 for 4 units, so you can plug this in for any leg 2 loss we might have had earlier. I really love the Chargers to win straight up, and I'm going to take them to win as a leg 3 for 4 units. And you'll be looking at about plus 130 here, so as you know, if you bet 1 unit to, at plus 130, we're going to actually profit more, net more even. I don't just mean profit more. We're going to net more by getting a plus 130 as a leg 3 for 4 units. And that's why I like to try and sometimes, we did it last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was last week, with the Eagles and Chiefs. We had the Eagles winning. They were looking at about plus 130. And yeah, we net almost 2 units instead of the normal 1 unit. Usually it's just 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units, that's 7. And obviously if you win the last one, you've won 8 units, 4 is 8. And you just subtract the 7 and it's exactly 1 unit profited. But when we start dealing with plus odds and we're doing 2 units or 4 units on the plus odds, it winds up being closer to, in this case it'll be closer to 2 units profited, because we're getting plus 130 for 4 units. So yeah, I think it's a good pick, a great value pick. And they're saying how Lamar Jackson, they got to keep him healthy. And this is where he got hurt last year. So I have a feeling that they're going to definitely have him look a little passive. We're not going to be seeing him run too much. They might even flirt with, he looks a little shaked up, or they're getting pressure on him. Things of that nature. And they might play a little more passive. So they seem to be flirting with that. You got the Chargers at home here. I went into this already. I think they would have fired Staley by now. The fact that they have not fired Staley has me thinking, and if you look at these injuries, this could be why people might be on, why it's a 3-point line. That all being said, I still think the money is going to be about even on this. I don't think one team's going to get hammered. I don't think people are going to see guys are hurt for the Ravens and just hammer the Chargers. Sure, if they were playing the Browns or a team that, the Bills, a team that is competitive, but the Chargers have done nothing to show that they should be just a 3-point dog here. I get they're at home. But yeah, I absolutely love the Chargers to win. It keeps them in the playoff picture. So you have, not looking too good for the Texans, but you have, the Texans in there, obviously, the Browns and Broncos, the Raiders, all these teams, and I'd imagine a few of them are going to win. So I don't think you knock the Chargers out this early, and sure, it doesn't mathematically eliminate them, but it really takes away any kind of appeal, any kind of suspension of disbelief, like for the Chargers. So they win this game, then they're kind of right in the mix. And again, they like it really congested, where it's like every team has a shot except like one or two, it seems like. They seem to do it in both divisions. The AFC is really blatant with it, where the Patriots are the only team that I would say people just know are eliminated. Almost every other team, they have a shot. Like the Broncos, people thought had no shot, but now they do. The NFC is a little different. Cardinals, people don't think has a prayer. Panthers, people don't think have a prayer. I think there's even the teams that are doing a little better now. You could look at even the Packers. I don't think people really believe they're going to do anything. So I think there's more team. The Giants, there's just way more teams in the NFC, in my opinion, where they're out. Whereas the AFC, they're keeping it really nice and close. So I think they're going to continue to do that. So, something weird happened here. Maybe the Texans will pull it off. So anyway, yeah, this obviously, right as of now, we have the Chiefs Raiders over leg 3 for 4 units, and I am officially adding the Chargers to win outright. So we'll have those 2 leg 3s. Obviously, they will heavily determine how we do today. I think we're going to finish in the positive again, just like yesterday, and for the most part, we usually do, just because we really just need to hit metric plays. We don't need anything crazy to happen. And I specifically went with the Chiefs Raiders. Look at these teams on the over. It's laughable. They're going to start defying history if these teams don't go over. So if you wanted a quote lock of the day, that I went into my last video, Chiefs Raiders over. I do like the Chiefs to cover as well. I went into that. But yeah, Chargers win. I really think more people will be on Lamar. And I think it's going to be a game where the Chargers might establish themselves. So I can see them winning a pretty decisive route, if I'm being honest. I don't think they have one of them all year. They're not getting rid of Staley at this point. I really thought they would have. They might do something weird. Who knows? Like, towards the end of the season, once they're officially eliminated from the playoffs. But I thought they might have done it to give the team hope. Not players, but make it seem like the players are going to start fighting more now and get the fans more energized about the organization. But it does seem like they're just going to finish on cruise control. So this would be a nice upset for them. Keep them in the picture. I don't think they're making the playoffs, but I also don't think they're going to drop them out 3 games back this early with, we still have 6-7 games left. So yeah, I like the Chargers to win this game. And again, the simplified reason is also just look at the odds. The 3-point line to me is very suspicious. To me, they're just not the way the Ravens are playing versus the way the Chargers are playing. There's just no reason for it to be 3 points. So that one I feel very confident about. So yeah, and CM Punk returned. Pretty crazy. I went into my last video how I thought. I was like, I think they might save it for the Rumble now. I thought he was returning, but thinking about everything, not positive. Don't think they will actually pull the trigger. But it's pretty insane. And I'm honestly starting to believe, because of wrestling. I thought about it when CM Punk returned, and Triple H started talking about how well WWE has marketed in Chicago. I honestly I wouldn't be surprised if the reason the NFL, the Bears, the Cubs as of late, basically every Chicago team sucks balls. I wouldn't be surprised if it's because of pettiness. And by pettiness, I mean, obviously your fan bases are going to watch one sport. You have hockey's more prevalent in Detroit and Chicago for a very long time. It has been. And then you got your baseball markets. I would say Baltimore is a big baseball market. And then you got your basketball markets. You got your college markets. You know, your college markets are going to be obviously like the Bible Belt. You're going to have like North Carolina and Georgia and Florida. And then you got your NFL markets. They're always going to be New York, things like that. My point is, you have your wrestling markets. Chicago is a wrestling market, and it's pretty funny. It's almost like a lot of these teams just gave up on trying to appease their fans because they realize, yeah, these guys watch wrestling way more than they watch football or basketball. Again, hockey's probably next after wrestling. But I do find it interesting that the biggest draw in Chicago is definitely not a athlete. It's CM Punk. Outside of Michael Jordan, that guy is just insane. So I do think there's connections with wrestling and sports. I'm going to start looking deeper into them. Seeing what The Rock does. Ric Flair just made the rounds with Shannon Sharp. Curious what that means for North Carolina and Carolina teams. Obviously, it didn't go too well for Carolina today, but just in general, I'm curious what these kind of things mean. I find it interesting. So yeah, I found that return to be interesting, and I'm curious. ESPN is covering that more than some of their sports stories, and it's because they know the amount of eyes that are on the WWE. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy return. I officially did the Survivor Series predictions. We got all the matches right except one, but most of them were favorites, to be fair. But yeah, the Punk return, it was an interesting one. They did it well. And again, to me, it's just another example of how sometimes, especially with freaking these returns and fake injuries, how WWE does a better job than the freaking NFL of actually getting people to suspend their disbelief and believe like things are going to happen or things aren't going to happen. So when people ask me like, wow, certain patterns that I notice, I'm not kidding. A lot of them are because I grew up a wrestling fan, and you see scripted entertainment for 20 some odd years, you're going to very quickly notice it in others, when you see it being completely copied. So yeah, I had gone into how Flair said that WrestleMania was just completely lifted by the Super Bowl. They just completely copied everything WrestleMania did, and it wasn't the only thing that they copied. It was a really cool discussion he had with Shannon. But yeah, I think it'll open people's eyes to how easy it is to script games and things like that and get people to suspend their disbelief. But not to go on a tangent, just found the return interesting, and the fact that sometimes, again, WWE is harder to call than these other, quote, sports, I think is very revealing. So yeah, I think the Chargers are going to come through here for our leg 3-4 units. We got our last couple. We were missing a lot of prime times, then we got a couple, and we've been doing really good on our leg 3s, where I've been doing a leg 3 on prime time for 4 units. We've been doing really good on them as of late as well, so I think we're going to get this Charger win, and I like the Chiefs over too. I think it's going to go over, so obviously all the games matter, the Rams, the Broncos, but those are going to be our leg 3 for 4 units, so it'd be nice to get them. So take care and happy earnings.